Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. My name is Ti Windisch. I'm one of your hosts, joined as always by the well-traveled Rohan Katti. Rohan, happy Monday, my friend.
Thank you. Happy Monday indeed. This weekend just flew by, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
We're both well-traveled.
We're
both well-traveled.
I just got back from Cleveland. You just got back from Chicago. And fittingly, This podcast is all about ranking the whole Eastern Conference, including Cleveland and Chicago.
We were doing some scouting. That's the whole reason we're at those two places.
Exactly. So we can share what we've learned now. We'll go from – so we're using a tier list thing. So it's the categories are 1, 2 through 4, 5 through 6, play-in, 11 through 15. So we'll share these after. We'll share these on the Instagram. Make sure for a visual of this – go follow Watch GSPN on Instagram, and then we will share these there. I think we have them lightly ordered within tiers, but the differentiation between tiers is most important. If you've never listened before, welcome. We're going to be here all off season long, doing a bunch of Bucks content. We don't stop. We've also got Brewers and Packers podcasts at GSPN, Cruising for a Bruising and Talk of the Tundra, respectively. You can check it all out at gspn.info. Please subscribe, rate, review wherever you're listening or watching. Okay, let's just dive right into it, Rohan. We're in prime off season. We don't have that much to plug right now. I think the number one question, it's the title of this podcast, how does Milwaukee rank? How does Milwaukee rank in the new East? Who is your number one team?
It's the Milwaukee Bucks, Ty.
Yeah, they won 58 last year and Chris barely played. I think it's pretty easy, to be honest.
I feel like it's pretty easy. It's a different conversation. A lot of the times that we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks and this team is in the context of the postseason, which is fair, which is where they're going to be able to play and see what their expectations are. That's where their expectations are, is to perform well in the playoffs. What we haven't talked a lot about is how they're going to play in the regular season. This team is going to be a regular season wins machine.
Yeah.
They have been all throughout this era under Mike Budenholzer. Now it should hopefully transfer under with Adrian Griffin because it's mostly the same talent. This team just they know how to play together. They know how to win together. They're going to win a lot of games, and they have a lot less question marks than the teams below them.
I couldn't agree more. And as we discussed on last week's episode, go check that out if you haven't already. I can't talk today. We think the Bucks are at worst like a push on paper, and if not better. And again, that's without factoring in injury time. So if Chris Middleton does have a healthier season this coming year, that's going to make a huge difference to a team that clearly needed some more ball handling and shot creation help. Losing Javon Carter hurts, but maybe Marjon Beauchamp can be a more regular contributor. Maybe some of the rookies can be regular contribitors. Full season of Jay Crowder.
I've heard the crossover translates to the NBA, so he's going to be scoring 83 a game.
I'll take it. If
Marjon Beauchamp scores 83 points in an NBA basketball game, what are you going to do? What's the bet? What are we doing?
I would get a tattoo.
I'd get a Marjon tattoo.
I will get a tattoo. We'll both get tattoos if he scores 83 in an NBA game.
Yeah.
Regular season or playoffs. Or playoffs.
Yeah. If he scores 83 points in a non-preseason or exhibition NBA game, we will get matching Marjon tattoos.
Should we do it together too?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Lock that one in, listeners. Marjon 83 piece, which would be a Bucks record, obviously.
It'd be the second highest scoring game in NBA history.
Has no one done... What Kobe was 81, and that's 81. Number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Marjon, you do that.
It'd be the highest filmed scoring game in NBA history.
Yeah, that's true. Then we'd have the whole highlights for. Imagine how loud how long it would be, just like the video of all the shots. It'd take a long time.
Oh, and then you'd have some Ford F-150 music behind it.
Down.
New admin though, so who knows?
That's true. What did Clay have? Like 63.
Yeah, I think so.
And that felt to me when it happened like that's like the most points you could even score now. So I feel pretty good about this.
No, I mean we saw Donovan Mitchell get 71 this past season.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that game.
And someone else got 70, didn't they?
Well, Booker did a couple years ago, right? But that was a fake.
70. No, last season someone got 70.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
it'd be incredible.
Yeah. Should we even talk more Bucks here? I mean, I guess we'll kind of talk about them in relation to every team.
Yeah, but I feel like we've talked a lot of Bucks this offseason.
That's true.
This gives us a chance to talk about some other teams. So let's get to
good
it.
Call.
Our next category is 2nd through 4th place. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place.
How do you want to do it? Do you want to drop all 3 or go one at a time?
Let's drop all 3 and then we can reveal our order.
Okay.
So I imagine in some order, you have the 76ers,
Nope.
the Celtics. Oh, okay.
Nope, you're incorrect. You are incorrect, sir.
I will say my 3.
Go ahead.
In 2nd place, I have the Boston Celtics.
We're aligned there.
Let's talk about that, though.
Okay.
So the Boston Celtics underwent a lot of change this offseason. Like, more than you would expect a team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Again,
Game 7
for the 500th time.
Yeah.
The 500th time in the last 5 years, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, or better.
So what they did is they massively kind of shook up their identity. They trade for Kristaps Porzingis in a 3-team deal with the Wizards and the Grizzlies, in which Marcus Smart, their starting point guard and best playmaker on the team, heads to Memphis, and best perimeter defender on the team as well.
Yep.
Heads to Memphis. Well, one of the best. The Jays are pretty good.
I think Smart is better.
Smart is the best one, but that's not to say that they
won
don't
DPOY 2 years ago. I don't think it's a controversial.
It was a fake DPOY, but
sure, but he's still. I digress. Go on.
Yes. So they get Kristaps Porzingis. Marcus Smart is out. They have to learn an entirely new way of playing defense. When they have Al Horford, they have Kristaps Porzingis, they have Robert Williams, who's, again, the year Marcus Smart won DPOY, Robert Williams was probably the front runner for DPOY before he got hurt.
Yeah.
It's a weird roster, devoid of playmaking. They couldn't trade Malcolm Brogdon because he was too injured.
Yeah.
And who's the other point guard on the roster? Peyton Pritchard?
Derek White, did you say?
Derek White also, but I consider him more of a 2. But.
Well, he's their starting point guard now, so
yeah,
they got Drew Holiday problems going on.
Don't get me started. 0.7 of a point guard on the Bucks.
Yeah.
It's a weird team. However, I still put them 2nd in the East because the talent is still there. They still have Jason Tatum. They locked up Jaylen Brown for $304 million.
Bad contract, good player is the simple, I think.
It's a contract you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Because you either lose him, or I guess you could trade him.
You trade him. That's the choice. That's very risky.
But if it's on an expiring contract, you're not going to get as much return as you would on the.
Would you get Damian Lillard?
No, I don't think you would.
I don't know. Probably not.
You'd
have to add more because the Blazers would be like, he's going to leave. So.
Yeah, wrong timetables too.
Yeah.
It's just you have to do that contract.
If you sent Jaylen Brown to Brooklyn and Brooklyn sent a bunch of stuff to Portland, would you get Damian Lillard maybe?
Maybe?
I would have considered that more if I were them, I think.
That's fair.
It's a deep conversation. I think it's what?
But then what is Brooklyn doing?
They got their whole little team now. They got Jaylen Brown and Mikal Bridges. They need some ball handling to help with Mikal.
Yeah, fair.
They think they're competing, I think. We'll get to how much they actually are, but they think they are for sure.
Well, they don't own their own picks, so it's kind of you have to.
Yeah.
But the Celtics, the talent there is just too high. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they've played together for so long now. It's like the similar thing with the Bucks, where it's like you trust their continuity in terms of their star talent for them to be able to win a lot of games. Joe Mazzulla, year 2, more familiar with the roster. It's just, I don't know. It's going to be Bucks Celtics 1 and 2.
I think they could be worse. I think they could actually drop, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did. The Porzingis, and they lost Smart, and they let Grant Williams walk, and they got a couple second-round picks. So they have all these second-round picks. That's fine. You can trade in 5 of those for a Jay Crowder. Congratulations. I think that Mazzulla is like this. He's all in on offense. That kept coming out during their playoff run. And it seemed like the players wanted to shift to more defense and play Grant Williams. And Mazzulla was just resisting, and then they finally did it. And I thought Grant Williams was pretty good. They just didn't play him that much. And I do kind of think that they have an identity crisis. And I don't know if adding Porzingis is really going to help. And I think that's a team that, I'm not a huge Ime Udoka guy, but I think he was right to lead in a defense because they don't have elite playmaking. I just don't think Like their offense is so reliant on the three ball, and that's what gives them problems in the playoffs. And I don't see how that's changed at all. Like I feels like they're going all offense. I know Porzingis has been a good defender, but they've had good defensive big men already. I just think they're going to be weird and stilted, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were worse, especially with the injury history of Porzingis and some of the other guys. I mean, Al Horford is like 40 years old. Robert Williams, of course. Like we'll see how healthy they are. Brogdon. And they're not super deep outside of those guys. We'll see. But I slot them in here too because I think Tatum is the second best player in the conference.
You're not a fast PP fan? You don't think he's
fine.
Good bench stuff?
He's fine. But
he's also requested a trade for the third straight year or something.
Yeah. You have to imagine now that he's the real backup point guard, he'll be fine. I think he just wanted to play. But like he was a really nice depth piece when you had multiple like 3-point guards in front of him. Now you have 1.5, and the one is Malcolm Brogdon, who's usually hurt, and it sounds like teams are really concerned he's really hurt right now. So
the Clippers didn't trade for it.
Yeah,
after they got his medical.
I think they're in a pretty precarious spot, but I slotted them in here because Jalen's good. I think Tatum is the second best player in the conference. So
same.
I think Jimmy has looked better at times, but Tatum getting older, Jimmy getting older in a worse way. I'll just slide them in there and assume they'll just figure it out. And they do have a bunch of trade chips if they need a midseason move. But I think they're precarious, but I also think they'd belong there. So who do you have after them?
I have this Philadelphia 76ers.
I have them in the next tier.
Okay. So I try. This is a weird spot. I have to sell you on Philly.
Yeah, good luck. It's not happening.
It's not something I want to do. Trust me. But it's just like Joel Embiid is the third best player in the conference.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'd say regular season. Yeah.
Yeah, probably regular season. Sure.
I'm taking Jimmy over him in the playoffs any day of the week.
Yeah.
But in terms of the regular season, he's going to try to gun for another third straight, like another MVP.
I don't know if he is.
I mean, it's worked out for the Giannis Jokic model. You win 2 MVPs in a row, you win a title the next year.
Yeah,
He's
but
2 years away from a title at this point.
Yeah, I think that team situation is not going to. It's not going to lend itself to him looking good enough to win another MVP, and it's also not going to lend him to want to play that hard, probably.
I mean, yeah, their offseason was also kind of bad.
Horrible.
Like really bad.
Yeah.
They signed 3 centers and Pat Bev, and one of them already tore his ACL.
Oh, yeah. Was that Montrez?
Yeah.
That's tough. And they let Shake Milton walk. And, James Harden's not going to show up. Or he's going to show – actually worse, he is going to show up, but he's going to be down in the fat suit.
The fat suit. I'm so excited for the return of the fat
that's
suit.
clearly coming. Like that's my thing. Like I'm 100%. not gonna slot you into being a great regular season team when you've got all this going on. And I just feel like it's a mess. We know Morey. He's not going to resolve it before the year. I guarantee they're not.
Here's the thing, though. The last time they did this was the Ben Simmons season, right?
Yep.
They finished first in the conference.
That's fine. I think
like they'll still put up some regular season wins.
Yeah, but that was the first time that you had Embiid having to carry a team while one of his co-stars asked out.
They have more experience.
And he's got 1 year left after this?
2, I think. I can check real quick.
We already know the Knicks are eyeing him up after this season, I'm saying. I think he just has 1 after this season. But
1 second.
I just think I don't think that you can ask your star to do this that many times. Also, Doc Rivers, for his many faults, I feel like the one thing he does do is kind of just keep things rolling. Like noted asshole team Clippers, like they always kept together. They didn't blow up until the team decided to blow them up. Go ahead, you have the contract.
After this season, he has 2 years and a player option.
Okay. Which is 5 minutes in NBA star player contract time.
So he has 2 years left.
Yeah. But Nick Nurse is now the head coach, who is not exactly known for fostering anything positive on his teams ever. I mean, all the stuff that's come out. I mean, I saw a report that Siakam wouldn't talk to him.
Wait, what? I missed that.
I'll look it up after I'm done talking to make sure I'm not. It was someone. I'm pretty sure it was him. I don't know how corroborated that is, but I'm also not shocked given all the things about the vibes that came out. And I think there was a pretty noted lack of like thank yous going both ways after he stepped away or was fired or whatever actually happened there.
He was fired.
I think they're gonna. This is the regression year, and things are gonna go bad.
That's fair. I mean, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
Yeah. You don't like. I'm here for it. We are noted Sixers doubters on this podcast, Ty. And nothing would warm my heart more than the Philadelphia 76ers taking a very, very massive step back this offseason. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to have some wins. So who was your third place team?
The Cavs.
The Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this just because you were on the chase down recently?
No, I ranked them like 6th or 7th in playoff equity, but for regular season standings, I have them 3rd.
Okay, tell me what.
They're young. They're really young. So I think pretty much everyone on the team is going to be better next year than they were the year before. And I think they added 2 really important pieces for them, even if I think one of them is not all that good. But Max Strus and George Niang add exactly what they needed, which was shooting and some semblance of wing play. I think they still have playoff issues that are going to be problematic, like that 4 or 5 combo of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in the playoffs. Like, especially they don't rebound well enough for their lack of spacing. But as we know, these things are less problematic in the regular season. So I think they're all so young. I mean, Mobley year 3, Garland, year 4 or 5, Mitchell still clearly in his young prime. I think they're all getting better. I think they have continuity. I think Strus helps them out a ton right away. Like, you look at Isaac Okoro or like Jetty Osman or Lamar Stevens slotting in at the 3 for them. You turn that into Strus, who is probably a little Miami overrated, but still is a good wing player. And as the 5th guy there, I think is a really good fit. I think they're going to pile up wins, and I just think the rest of the middle of the conference is squishy in a way that lends itself to the Cavs becoming a top 3 seed this year. And it's only moving them up, 1 spot? They were fourth last year.
They were 4th last season.
So, I mean, you look at Philly, Miami is clearly a little shaky. The other teams, I mean, we'll get to like the Nets, who I think were 6th, but obviously are going to be worse this year because they won't have KD for half the year this time. I think it's right there for the Cavs.
And
now,
Kyrie. I forgot Kyrie was on that team last season too.
So, I don't think they're going to finish quite as high in the standings this time. They were like 1st in the East for a couple weeks, and then, those guys did what those guys do. Good luck, Phoenix and Dallas. But I think the Cavs are really set. I mean, I'd be pretty disappointed with them if they weren't at least a top 4 seed again, because I just don't see that many teams that are built to churn wins. I think their roster is really good.
That's fair. I think I'm a big fan of the Strus and Niang signings for them because I think it just gives them more versatility. And like Strus, especially off the bounce shooting, and George Niang, like just a tweener forward. Like, yeah, the minivan is he's gonna get some work in Cleveland. I did not have the Cavs in this tier.
Wow.
I did not. I had them moving down a little bit, but I feel like you could easily convince me because in my opinion, there's not a lot of room in between sort of like 3rd and 6th in the East. I feel like they're all sort of in the same group of teams.
That's fair.
So my 4th place team, was the Miami Heat.
That's where I had them too.
Okay, cool.
Even
so
though I'm much more confident in my top 3 than in my top 4. Like, I think Miami could finish 7th again for sure. So let's cover this now. I mean, are we both assuming like just things as they are now? So like we think they probably get Dame, right?
They probably do get Dame,
but they haven't yet. So it's like kind of hard to project. I think even if they get him, they could be lower than this, to be honest, because that team is really thin. I mean, they lost 2 starters and Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, who were really good. Jimmy is another year older.
To be fair, both of them, like, they shouldn't have both been starters, but it was because of like a Tyler Hero injury.
Yeah,
it was because like Kyle Lowry in the regular season wasn't present for a lot of the season,
and he's now 38 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think something like that. I mean, he's like one of the only active players left from his draft class.
Yeah.
Maybe the only one.
It's like he's like the one after LeBron, I think.
Yeah.
2 after LeBron.
Yeah, we're like probably a year or 2 away from LeBron being the only player active for like 3 drafts in a row.
It's already like 2 or 3.
No, it's not. I just looked over the weekend. Classic guys being dudes moment where we figured it out, and there's still a couple, like 1 or 2 guys from 04 and a couple guys 05, and then a bunch in 06 still.
That is so classic guys.
That is just going through b-ball ref.
I did that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So.
But Miami, I actually think we're probably overrating them regular season.
Yeah, because like Jimmy's not going to care that much.
No, and they were just 8th.
It's 7th, but then play in. But
well, maybe don't lose to who they lose? Atlanta. Maybe don't do that if you want me to call you. Yeah,
maybe you don't do that, Miami. Then things would have changed. It worked out a lot differently.
Seriously.
God, I'm not upset. You are.
Yeah, I am. You're right.
But yeah, I feel like Miami, like they have the cogs to really like get some wins going. They like sometimes like 2 years ago they were first.
Yeah, they're a seesaw team.
They're either first in the conference or they're middling and they're a massive playoff underdog. It's just how it goes. The Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference for this last decade.
It's true.
Or I should say in the Jimmy Butler era.
Yeah.
Which is like 6 years now or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since Philly picked old. Ben Simmons and over him.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got that famous locker room, him walking out last, Tobias Harris over me? And it's like, yeah.
Poor Tobias.
I mean, he's not poor, rich Tobias.
No, that's true. That's true.
But it's so hard to, they could be first, they could be 7th. So it's like, I feel like it's safe to put them 4th.
And I agree. I think you're right. And I also think that even if they get Dame, I could see them having that much range. Because like Jimmy or Dame missing a bit of time and their team is just suddenly very thin and very old. So yeah, I think they're an enigma. I think it's just safe to slot them in here because if they're relatively healthy, Jimmy, Dame, Bam is a great trio. So I think this is fair. Do you view them with Dame as the biggest threat to the Bucks in the playoffs, or do you think it's Boston?
Yes. I think it's Miami with Dame.
Is anyone else even in contention? I think not.
Celtics, yeah.
No, I'm besides those two.
Oh, besides those two, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And that's more than you can usually ask for in a season.
I think it's Miami just because the last time Boston beat the Bucks, it was 7 and there was no Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
And
I think the Bucks are pretty confident in facing the Celtics.
They shouldn't be scared of Miami either. Everything went wrong in that series. They should not be afraid.
Maybe don't be cocky about it.
No, don't be cocky. I'm saying they just shouldn't be afraid. I
know.
I think Drew guards Dame, Giannis guards Jimmy. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. And Thanasis guards Bam.
Sure.
It'll work.
So your top 4, Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Miami. My top 4, Milwaukee, Boston, Cleveland, Miami. So then we've already talked a bit about Philly, who I have 5th.
And
the
I
5
have
to
Cleveland
6.
5th.
Okay, so we've already talked about both of them. Who do you have 6th? Do we have the same team here, I wonder?
It's the Knicks.
I also put the Knicks. I was very close to not.
Oh, tell me why. Because I feel like I'm underrating the Knicks here.
Their biggest addition was Dante DiVincenzo, who
a good addition.
I don't think is a good fit for them.
I think he is.
They're already guard heavy. I think they need more shooting, and he's an incredibly streaky shooter.
I mean, but last season was good, so maybe you're hoping he turns a corner. I'm saying there's upside there. Like he could end up being a great fit for the Knicks. How many heavy, sure.
How many 6'5" guys are they going to play every night?
A lot.
Is that good?
If they're good players, yes. I mean, it's like we're talking about 6th in the East.
I know. No, I know. I've thought about one of the young upstart teams below them, but I ultimately couldn't do it. I just think they're going to do more of the same. Like they're just in this stasis until they can, their star hunting is done. Like they thought about signing Thanasis. I think there's 2 reasons there. There's a charitable one with Thanasis and then a realistic one. They're clearly sniffing around Embiid.
They were star hunting for Thanasis.
Exactly, sure. They were star hunting for someone named Antetokounmpo. We will split the middle on that one, on that piece of analysis. They're clearly eyeing up Embiid like crazy. I think just in this current form, Brunson is really nice. He's not a superstar by himself. So, Randall
should be an all-star this season, not Julius Randle.
Yeah, not Randall. I mean,
Like it is Jalen Brunson's team. That should be clear after this postseason. That's Jalen Brunson's team.
yeah, I agree.
Like how many Julius Randle stinkers do we need in the playoffs before we realize that?
Yeah, I think the book is out there. I think it's pretty clear him and salary into a star is their plan, and it's a good plan. But I don't think they got much better this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Dante's like a fine upgrade in my opinion. I
Yeah.
would love Dante on the Bucks.
You lose Toppin, who I actually thought was good, and they should have played more. So it won't be a big impact for them, but I think it is a waste.
It is a bit of a waste, but it's more of like a good faith thing where it's like, yeah, we'll get you to somewhere you can play.
Yeah, but you could have also solved the problem by playing him.
Yeah, but it's like, where are you going to play him? Ahead of Mitchell Robinson? Like,
no, I think he should be their
Isaiah
third big.
Hartenstein?
Yeah, I think he should be their third big.
I don't know. I like Hartenstein.
I mean, Tibbs would never do Randall and Obi, which that lineup is really intriguing. Like space and athleticism around Randall is intriguing.
Yeah, it's also bad defensively, but
I don't know if that's all Obi's fault, but
it's not all Obi's fault. But the problem is you can't trade Julius Randle to the Pacers.
and they still have his little brother, which is just awkward.
Wait, do they really?
Yeah, I think they have the other Toppin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they haven't cut him yet, so it's got to be one of those like they just have to wait to make it not seem that connected. I think they're fine. I'm lower
I think they
than
could
consensus.
win a playoff series.
I mean, yeah, they've proven that.
No, they did last season against the Cavs. They
Yeah, that's what I mean.
swept them.
Yeah,
But it's like I think like even if they're 6, I could see them beating the Sixers.
me too, 100%.
Could you see them beating Miami?
Stuff would have to go really wrong for Miami.
Yeah, it'd have to be a little lopsided for it. But it's like there's a world in which it happens. I can't see them beating the Bucks. I can't see them beating the Celtics.
And we can see them beating the Cavs.
Yeah, we can definitely see them beating the
We've
Cavs.
seen that. I think the Cavs took more steps to get better. I think they have better pieces.
For sure. The Cavs upgraded way more than the Knicks did.
But on the Chase Down pod, when I did go on there, I did rank the Knicks above them in playoff equity because it's like, I got to see it now. After what happened last time, I got to see it. So that's the top 6. We're consensus top 6, which is probably good. Play-in tier. The team I really wanted to move up, but I wasn't ready yet. Indy. I think Indiana looks really good. I think Tyrese Halliburton is legit. I think they filled their holes really productively. Yeah. Okay. The Rohan face on YouTube right now. I deserve that one. Bruce Brown is really good. Provides a lot for them. I love Obi Toppin for them. I love that they basically just said, let's just plug in a bunch of power forwards and see which one fits, because that was clearly their huge spot of need. They just didn't have any good ones. They have Jarris Walker, who I think is going to be good. They have Obi Toppin.
Jarris Walker is their power forward of the future, but it's like for right now.
You also have Obi. Have Obi for more depth, and hey, maybe he pops there. I mean, I think with his athleticism, like him on the floor with Tyrese, that's going to be really fun. I think they added shooting. They still have Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, who I like. Mathurin gets another year in.
Can you give us a Buddy Hield, please?
Yeah, we would take a Buddy Hield for sure. Maybe they will be positioned to do that if Mathurin takes another step as well. I mean, I just really like their team. I think they're probably one more year away, but I really like that they took. I think they got better now and positioned themselves to keep getting better. You know, it wasn't like Houston where it's like, oh, we need FVV for 3 years. That's not a terrible contract. I think they have an early out after 2, but it feels very sustainable the way they're building. What's so funny?
No, I just sneezed. I quickly muted my mic.
Oh, you did it. I didn't hear the sneeze, but I just, yeah. I was like, what did I say this time?
No. That's all you.
But I think Halliburton's going to be an All-NBA guy, not an All-Star guy, and that's a lot of my calculus here.
That's fair. I didn't have Indy too far behind.
Yeah.
What is that, 7 in the East now? But it's like, yeah, I completely agree. I do think there's going to be a little more growing pains than maybe you foresee.
Could be, for sure.
But for sure, I think we're in lockstep when we say in like 2 years, Indiana's going to be a force.
I think next year. They're out of the play-in. That's if Mathurin's any good. Walker comes along. Like Tyrese Halliburton, 20 and 10. Like that kind of point guard play really lifts up a team, and there's not many teams that have that anymore.
It is absolutely insane what we're seeing from Tyrese. Oshkosh's own Tyrese.
Oshkosh legend.
I had Atlanta 7.
Yeah, I have them right after. Zach Lowe's getting really high on them, and I get the reasoning.
I've seen that, but it's like
I don't.
We've also seen what this team is for a few years now.
I feel like they do the same thing every year, and we're supposed to buy in every year again.
And it's like, what did they do? I mean, we obviously they have Wes Matthews, and we love Wes.
Yeah,
but it's like, who's their other addition? Patty Mills.
Yeah, I guess it's just like internal development that people are banking on.
Is Patty Mills going to play for the Atlanta Hawks?
I wouldn't think so.
It's crazy. So it's like you're just relying on like what you're saying, internal development.
You gave away John Collins.
Yeah, they just gave him away for not even like a bag of chips.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, do you want a John Collins? No wonder the Bucks were in on that report. It's like, yeah, we'll take a free John Collins. Like,
yeah.
For all the talk they've had, like year after year after year of John Collins being in trade rumors, for it to end like this is just sad. I'm also staring at the Hawks logo right now, and it looks like a weird Pac-Man.
Yeah, I don't love their current branding.
Like, if you just, like, you obviously don't focus on the Hawk, you focus on the perimeter around it, it looks like a Pac-Man.
It does.
And that honestly lowers their equity.
The outside of the Hawk is the Pac-Man biting. He just has, like, a jagged mouth. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I think the upside is just like, oh, they have a bunch of good players under contract, which they do, but, like, they also did last year, and they weren't very good because they don't play any defense, and I don't really see how that's changing. DeAndre Hunter, I think they low-key also kind of tried to give away, and teams were like, yeah, we're good on that. $20 million a year for a pretty disappointing wing who's always hurt. I don't know if Wes Matthews plays here either. Bogdanovich, another pretty disappointing wing who's always hurt. I don't think DeJounte and Trey is an amazing backcourt combo. I think it's nice DeJounte covers the defense. I think he's probably a little overrated as a defender and not a good enough shooter. Clint Capella, I think, here's a take. I don't think many people agree. I think what he does for their defense is actually underrated. And the fact that everyone thinks they should just give him away and start Okongwu, I don't think that makes them better. I think Okongwu is a guy who's like been all flash, no substance so far. He's also like 6'9" or 6'8" or something. He still just plays center.
So is Clint Capella.
I mean, Capella's listed as taller. I don't know if he actually is. He's listed at 6'10".
Yeah, but it's like, is that 1 inch really making a big difference in your life? I did that to myself.
Yeah. Saddiq Bey is fine. I like Saddiq Bey.
I like Saddiq Bey.
Also doesn't shoot that well. Jalen Johnson, people seem really excited about.
50 on the night where there was just one NBA game on and everyone was watching college basketball remains one of the funniest things that's ever happened.
I think it colors a lot of Saddiq Bey analysis too. People seem really excited about Jalen Johnson. I've seen him live a couple of times. I don't think he's going to be like...
He's still raw.
Shocking the world, yeah. It's all about the jumper for him.
For sure. He could just be a nice, like, bursty wing.
I think he has Wiggins upside. Like current Wiggins. Yeah, for sure. Like right now. Like Aaron Gordon kind of. That's his best case. We'll see if he gets there.
For sure. And that's a very, very valuable piece to have on a championship team. Like we've seen teams year in, year out. They need that kind of player to be able to win. So if you have one in Jalen Johnson, you're set to go.
People are excited about their rookies, which is fine. I'm not going to factor that in too much to this.
But it's like if you're trying to win games, it doesn't matter. I say we're talking about the 8th seed. So it's like, and I guess like at the end of the day, we haven't talked. You have Trae Young, you have DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Like that's good. Like that's a good backcourt. It didn't work really well in year one. I don't know if it's going to get any better.
And people are, Quinn Snyder, full season. That's a plus for sure. I think he's a good coach. We'll see. I need them to prove it because they did that run to the ECF and everyone got really excited about them. And they've been so mid ever since, and they've just been like constantly 500. I think the reason is pretty obvious. Like they just don't defend well enough. And outside of Jalen Johnson becoming current Andrew Wiggins and Capella or Okongwu, being excellent and DeJounte stepping up, like it's just so hard to do when Trey is your one. And like I don't think Bogdan is a great defender either. I mean, they got rid of Collins. That's probably part of the reason why, but I don't know. AJ Griffin, I don't rate as a great defender either. We'll see.
Don't tell Adrian Griffin that.
I know. Whoops. There goes our access.
But yeah, I think if we both had them 8th in the East, like
Well, you have them 7th, right?
I have them 7th.
Yeah.
I have them 7th.
Did we flip flop Indiana and Atlanta, or do you have Indiana lower?
Indiana 9th.
Oh, who do you have 8th?
Place, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, I have them 10th.
So I mean,
let's talk about Brooklyn. Yeah,
let's talk about Brooklyn. So I think Mikal Bridges is really good and can be really good, especially like what we saw him like after he got traded to Brooklyn and he just became like a 20 plus point per game scorer. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy's got it. And you bring back Cam Johnson. Dennis Smith Jr. might be the most underrated offseason addition in the entire NBA because he had a real bounce back season last year. And you saw the flashes. He turned into a great defender, and you saw like his bounce is still there. He's a lot more calm. He became like a good player. And now you add that to a team that desperately needs some guard help. It's like, yeah, that could really end up working well. My guy, Lonnie Walker IV, had a good season in LA, broke out a bit in the playoffs, and now you get him in Brooklyn as well. It's just like, I don't think they're going to be really good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking. I have them 8th in the East. I think they could. They have a bunch of good young athletes, good athletic players. You got some good scorers. Who knows what can happen? You have some adults in the room with like Spencer Dinwiddie. Does he count as an adult in the room?
How do you feel about crypto?
Is Nick Claxton now a vet?
Probably.
And it's like, yeah, like, I don't know. You've got a bunch of good like collection of talent on their team. Jacques Vaughn, I feel like, can organize a team pretty darn well. You see them in the postseason. Who did they play in the postseason? Philly.
They played Philly and they got swept, and Embiid didn't even play all the games.
Yeah, but again, that was a
but
roster.
Embiid didn't play all the games.
Yeah, it's also a broken roster.
Is it that much more fixed?
I think it's better.
It's a little better.
I think it's better. And it's like they didn't have a ton of time with those guys to really figure anything out.
Yeah, as opposed to the Sixers who had a bunch of time without Embiid.
At the same time, you still have James Harden scoring 50 in the first game or whatever he did.
Yeah.
Like, that's an anomaly. But, again, I'm talking about 8th place in the East. Where did you have Brooklyn?
I had them 10th.
You had them 10th. You said that. I had Indiana next.
They were 12 and 15 with Mikal last year.
It's pretty good.
No, it's not.
I mean, hey, like in this sense, in this tier.
No, it's 3 games under 5. I think there's going to be. I think Washington might run up a crazy amount of losses. We'll see.
Yeah, wrong year to do it apparently. But.
I had Brooklyn 10th. I just think they're. I think for as well as Mikal played, the results not reflecting more is a kind of a red flag for me. I think their team is fine. I kind of wonder if. Like, I know you mentioned, like, they don't have their pick, so they need to compete a little bit. I still kind of think they might sell off some parts around midseason here. Because, like, you know...
I will take a Mikal Bridges.
Not Mikal. I think they wouldn't give him for first. Like, I think they'll keep Mikal, Thomas, and Claxton, but, like, Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal, like, those kind of guys, you know...
I forgot about Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, he's there. He's
that's
existing.
A solid vet wing.
Yeah, I wonder how long he plays there is my point. Just because, you know, how much does it really hurt you over time if your pick is a couple spots worse, but you can add some more equity to help build? And they're not in the true gutter. They're still kind of an island of misfit toys. If they end up with Tyler Hero in a 3-way trade, I'd actually like them a lot more because I just think they need a little more pop. I think Mikal should be the second guy, not the first guy, not the fourth guy like he was in Phoenix, but I do think, or at least like the co-first guy. And, you know, Cam Thompson, Spencer Dinwiddie, fine, but they just need more. So I would like that a lot, actually, for them if they ended up picking up Hero. But I had them lower than Orlando.
Seriously?
Yeah, I have Orlando 9th.
You have Orlando 9th. Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm just all in on Paolo. Like, I just think Paolo is really good, like really, really good. Like... You know,
we'll see how he does at the World Cup because I'm very, very intrigued.
That's going to be I think that's a big moment for him. But like a 6'10" guy who creates a shot like that, I think should and will be a good shooter. I think Franz is also very good. And I think that combination of two players, like as part of this exercise, I'm basically rating them as a better duo than Brooklyn's or anyone below them, which I think is totally feasible.
The Joe Ingles edition can't be understated.
It's a nice veteran presence for them. Some depth.
To be fair, I was kidding. So.
I think it'll probably take one of Jet Howard or Anthony Black hitting the ground running, which is certainly possible. Suggs is definitely a disappointment from his draft position, but he's gotten a little better. Like, can he take another step? Jonathan Isaac, for as cringy as he is, if he's actually healthy, that's helpful.
Is he going to play though?
I don't know. No one knows. If he does, that would be nice.
Is he going to play?
Yeah, I think Wendell Carter's actually very good though. Like, I think they have a lot of good young players. They didn't make a splashy addition, but it's because they actually almost have too many young guys, and they kind of just need to get like a better grip on that. So I was fine with that for them. I think they're going to be more set up to take a swing like next year or the year after. But I just think they're going to be good. I think Paolo is that guy. And I think Franz is also low-key kind of that guy. And that's like a really strong pairing to start with. And there's a decent amount of depth around here if some of these young guys are just like a little bit better than they were. Or if one of the rookies or both has a strong rookie season.
That's fair. Usually what tends to happen with these young teams, though, is when there's no like vet addition, is like they don't make as big of a leap as you would hope them to. Like I agree with everything you said. Don't get me wrong. This young core is phenomenal, just like that coffee mug for the YouTube viewers. But it's just, I don't know. I can't quit the one team that I have ahead of Orlando.
Oh man. Who do you have there? This is someone I have in the next tier then.
It's Detroit.
Oh God, I have them.
I can't quit the Pistons.
13th.
I cannot quit the Pistons because mostly I think I'm a big fan of Cade.
See, I think Paolo's just better.
I disagree.
Maybe that's gonna look silly. It's fine if it does. I thought, and health is a factor as well. I like Paolo more.
Did you? There was a story that
he tore it up against the Team USA.
No. He turned down being on the big boy team.
Yeah.
So because he just wanted to focus on his injury recovery and like be good for the regular season. I think he is going to be. And even though he's on the select team, he's still tearing up the big boy team, which again is probably like, what team do you think is equivalent to the current USA men's basketball team?
I think they're probably
like, I don't know, the Clippers?
I think they'd be really good if they were a real team.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe the Clippers?
Kind of like last year's Celtics.
Maybe.
Just like super deep.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Like the way the Celtics played like the last 2 years, like with Brogdon and Smart actually playing and all the big guys, but not like an overwhelming big guy.
I almost said the Wizards on accident, which is like, it would have been very disrespectful. That is not true at all. But my point being that Cade Cunningham, I think, is just, he is that big guard with burst that everyone wants. And he's just had a ton of bad luck. But now it's time, he's learned the game. It's sort of like, he's had time off to be able to learn the game of basketball, which helps for younger players, especially young guards. Like having some time off. Like obviously you don't want people to get injured, obviously, but it's like in terms of their actual like cerebral development in terms of the NBA game, it really, really helps them a lot.
I think it's still going to be hard for him to look good with the rest of this roster.
I mean, yeah, the bench is really going to let them down. The bench is what's going to destroy the Pistons because the issue is they have no bench. I just don't like the fit of almost anyone on the team. What do you mean? You got a big playmaker in Cade,
and then you have another one.
What, in Ivy?
No, in Thompson.
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't expect a lot from Ahmed Thompson year one.
Asar. They have Asar.
Asar, excuse me. Asar Thompson. Men's in Houston. Oh my God, this is going to be confusing for me.
Yeah, it is.
From Asar Thompson year one. And he's not like projected to be more the playmaker. That's an Ahmed Thompson thing.
He's just like a big wing who doesn't shoot much. So he's a perfect Piston because that's most of what they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's just like they have the talent, and Jalen Duren, I think, is poised for a breakout season.
He looks
It's
really
just like
good.
a lot.
Yeah.
He looks really good in just like USA scrimmages from what we can see. But like that year two, like he has the physical tools, he has the body, he has the athleticism. And especially when you're playing with a bunch of playmakers, like, yeah, a guy like Jalen Duren is going to thrive. And he's still so young. Like he was the youngest player in the draft class last season.
Yep.
So he's like, a lot of players drafted this year are older than Jalen Duren. I don't know. You get a good shooter in Joe Harris, like Isaiah Stewart's back. Maybe Monte Morris does.
Is Joe Harris alive?
Maybe.
If they're playing Joe Harris, they're going to be even worse than I thought. I was down on them last year. I'm still down on them. I think
I'm high on them.
If Bojan misses any time, I think their offense is going to be non-functioning.
I'm not as high as I was last year because me and Adam, I went higher than Adam. I said they were going to be 500.
Yeah, 40 plus wins.
That's the one take I missed. I was right on Joe Ingles. I was right on Marjan, and I missed on the Pistons.
I like that they got Monte Morris, but it's like, okay, now you have him. I guess Hayes just doesn't play, whatever. You know.
I mean, that's your backcourt off the bench.
But
like him, you slide Asar to like a wing role.
Yeah, but then you still have Ivy and Hayes, and they like Isaiah Livers. Hayes. They have way too many guys who should be important on this team who I don't trust to consistently hit threes, and it's just so hard to have a good offense when your team is like that.
That's fair. I just a lot of this is just like your belief in the Magic is rooted in Paolo. My belief in the Pistons is rooted in Cade.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's gonna be quite good. I think prefer
Cade
Paolo.
Cunningham makes a run at the All-Star game this year.
I do not, but fair. Detroit certainly hopes so, because if he doesn't, this all looks like a mess.
I will not. He's the one guy I can't quit, like, around the league.
Is Beef Stew and Jalen Duren their starting 4-5?
Probably.
Don't love it.
I mean, again, we're talking about 10th in the East.
I know. Oh, I'm talking about 13th in the East.
I'm talking about 10th. I think they can be 10th.
I hope they can.
I have Orlando next.
I think Orlando's second best guy is way better than Detroit's. And I also think their best guy is, but we've already had that discussion.
That's fair. That's valid.
I mean, maybe Franz is their best guy and Paolo is like just catching. I think Paolo will be better, but I just like that duo more.
Lockstep, yeah. Who do you have 12th? Or who did you 11th, have 10th?
11th. I had Brooklyn 10th, remember?
Okay,
so let's recap again. 5, 6th. We both had. Oh, you had Cavs, Knicks. I had Sixers, Knicks.
Yes.
So then play in. I had Indy, Atlanta, Orlando, Brooklyn.
I had Atlanta, Brooklyn, Indy, Detroit.
Okay, so then I have Detroit in the middle of the bottom tier. So my 11th team, I'm going to guess we have the same one. Chicago.
No, mine's Orlando.
Oh, that's right. Who do you have 12th? Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 12th, mine 11th, the Bulls. I actually think they had a decent summer, but it's like they're bad. So when you're bad, you have a decent summer, you're still just bad. Like that's why I saw somebody, and I don't mean to throw shade at someone who's probably my friend, but it was like if a contender had this offseason, everyone would say it's a great offseason. It's like, okay, like that's fine. They're not a contender, though. So if you're not a contender and you retain guys who you pay actually, I shouldn't just say retain. You pay a lot of money to keep guys around who had you like 10th in the East and add one good role player. That's
I say 2.
Who's the second?
Torrey Craig.
Sure. Torrey Craig for 5 straight years. Oh my God, Torrey Craig is the thought, and then Torrey Craig's on a team and he just doesn't contribute. Rinse and repeat every time. Still waiting for the Torrey Craig breakout postseason. It's not going to happen here. That's for sure. DeRozan's pretty good. Levine's pretty good. Vucevic is like really $60 million guaranteed for that center in this NBA. Okay, I guess. Carter's.
He's like is it disrespectful to Brook to call him a poor man's Brook Lopez?
No.
I think it is a little disrespectful to Brook.
No, I don't think it is. But like he just doesn't really shoot anymore, and he's not really not that good of a defender anymore.
Brook.
Maybe it is offensive to Brook. He's someone. I think that contract age is really bad. Even cap's going up.
60?
I thought it was 360. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 360. 260 would be terrible.
Well, might even be better though. 'Cause I think that third years, unless it's not fully guaranteed, I think that's where it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and Brook got 384. So
they're just a bunch of mid, and I think Javon Carter helps them, but like also not that much. Like it's so much overlap with Caruso.
It makes me so sad though, because this team would have been so much better with Lonzo.
Yeah, but they're already. I think they're might medically get out of his contract. Like I think we're at that point now with the injuries.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
It is sad, but they've known for a while.
No, I know. I recognize that.
Yeah,
but it's
like you gotta.
I'm just trying to point out.
You gotta pivot.
It's like you can't give up hope though.
Well, you know why they're doing this? They still owe picks.
Yeah, to Orlando. They gave up the better player and they owe picks.
Yeah. So that's why they're not bottoming out, because if you're not a top 4 pick, I think it's top 4 protected.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, that's why they're trying to not bottom out, right? Like that's their goal is clearly
it's an unfortunate consequences they are going to bottom.
Yeah. Actually, no, they don't owe this year. This says.
Oh, is it next year's?
Yeah, next year to San Antonio. And it's 3 years in a row. Top 10, top 8, top 8.
It was this year. This
this was the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, they owe a first in 2025, but it's got protection. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're just going to be mid again, and their guys probably won't stay that healthy, and that's why they'll be down here. Could they be 8th? For sure. They could be 8th.
They have the upside because of the talent.
Yeah.
Like, DeMar is really good. Zach LaVine is really good. Like, Alex Caruso plus those two plus Vooch. Like, that's a team that can rack up some wins against younger teams because they're versed in the NBA. Who knows? They might trade Zach LaVine. I don't know to who, but...
Is there any... Could you have more overlap between two players than Caruso and Javon Carter?
Maybe with DeMar and Zach LaVine.
True. Fair. At least LaVine can kind of shoot. Okay, let's speed through the last couple. Did you have Toronto coming up soon?
Yeah. I had Toronto next. Toronto was 13th for me.
So I had them 12th. I had them just ahead of Detroit. I think they still have good players, but like they don't have any point guards, and they have a new coach. Maybe he'll be better, but it seems like some guys are angling out.
I already forgot his name.
Yeah. It sounds like he's a good development guy. You know,
see, that's not an indictment on him, but it's like it's more an indictment on me caring about this Toronto Raptors team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's like, that's not trying to be me like denigrating someone. That's just like me. Like,
yeah.
It's like this team doesn't excite me at all.
They have
from the Raptors fans I've seen, it doesn't excite them at all.
No, they're a funny one though, because I think they have the best players on this tier by far, but they're still here
100%
because
when
the fit is horrible.
OG, you Scotty Barnes, who took a step back.
Yeah.
Last season, and did you see that footage of him playing one-on-one?
No, is it bad?
He cooked.
Oh man, I mean, like
all on Raptors Twitter is just like, yeah, delete the footage, delete the.
He'd be a really good Warrior. He could not be a worst possible Raptor.
No,
like they just him, Pascal, OG, and Pirtle trying to all play together. It's just a disaster.
Grady Dick is probably going to be good for them. He's going to play a lot for them.
Let's not conflate the first one with the second one.
That's fair.
Like, come on now. Gary Trent is their most important player by far because they just really need that shooting, man. They just really need that shooting.
No, that's what I'm saying. Grady Dick's going to play a lot.
I think he will play a lot. I don't think he will be good for them. We'll see.
That's fair.
But I don't think they're good. So we both have Charlotte and Washington last.
Yeah, and it's not close.
I had someone trying to tell me Charlotte was going to be good. I mean, if LaMelo ever stays healthy, if Gordon Hayward ever stays healthy, I'm not going to root for a good Miles Bridges season, of course.
Absolutely not. He should not be in the league. He should be in jail.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
And it's just like they're. I mean, actually, they have new ownership now, so maybe they're on the way up.
Yeah.
Jordan was just tanking this team for decades.
For sure.
13 years, I should say.
Brandon Miller.
He got it for free and didn't know how to play it. Brandon Miller might be. Who knows what's going to happen with Brandon Miller?
Seems like he's a guy, just simply on court who probably takes a year or two to look pretty good.
On court, yeah. It's like, what's going to happen off court? Is that still lingering?
I don't think so.
Is it not? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Washington is a cesspool.
Yeah, I think they're clearly the worst team in the league. I could see. I mean, if the Hornets made the playoffs, I wouldn't be stunned, right?
I would be stunned.
I wouldn't be stunned if they were 10th.
Why?
LaMelo's really good, and they have some good young players.
Play in or playoffs?
Play in.
Oh, okay.
I said if they finish 10th, I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh, I thought you said if they made the playoffs, you would be shocked. I was like, I would be shocked.
No, I don't think they would ever make it through the play-in, but I think they could make it to there. Washington, though, like we know what they want to do here. Like, right? We know.
Yeah, it's who's on the Wizards besides Jordan Poole?
Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, Kyle Kuzma still.
He's good.
He was there all last year, and they weren't very good. Bilal Coulibaly.
Yeah, who they trade Wembanyama's teammate.
Yep, Mike Muscala,
France.
Patrick Baldwin,
Daniel Baldwin Jr. is terrible.
Some real players: Corey Kispert, Daniel Gafford, Denny Avdia.
Did you see that Danilo Gallinari said he has the Celtics game circled? On his
phone? I was like to watch it on League Pass.
To be fair, it's like it's a team you were a fan of for when you were growing up, and then you sign, and it's like you never play, and then you get traded. It's like you can understand.
Is he mad?
Also,
is he really mad about how that?
I think he's upset that he got traded.
I mean, he
was ready to contribute for the team.
Well, it's not his fault, but I mean, the way things worked out. I mean, what were they really gonna? I mean, I get it. Whatever.
Yeah, but it's like you can have that game circled. You're right. It's like, you're gonna have a front row seat.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see.
Landry Shamit's on the team.
Yeah, he stinks. I'm not a Landry Shamet guy.
Landry Shamet, that's the reason that we had Javon Carter during the
That's true.
On the Bucks, because he got traded.
And on the Gyro Step.
Yeah. Just like we had AJ Green. If you guys haven't listened to that, make sure you go listen to that. That was a fun pod.
I actually think the Wizards probably aren't as bad as we're filing them, but I think we all think
they are.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they're really bad.
I think they have a bunch of okay players, though. It's not like a peak tanking team. Like they're gonna start a serious starting five. For sure.
But Jordan Poole is probably gonna lead the league in scoring.
Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole. Let's say I don't know, Corey Kispert, Kuzma, and Gafford. That's fine.
That's bad.
It's bad, but it's not horrendous.
It's not horrendous, but it's not good.
No, I think they're going to be the worst team in the conference. But unless they sell off guys, which maybe they will, I don't think they'll be
100% going to sell off guys.
Yeah, but until they do that, I don't think they get smoked every night.
That's fair. You have the shot creation.
Yeah, you have Avdia, DeLon Wright. We'll see if Coulibaly is any good year one. Gallo, if he is playing. Was Johnny Davis ever going to be an NBA player? I don't know.
Stop.
Yeah.
You know what's the most exciting thing about talking about the Wizards?
What's that?
It's not about the Wizards at all. So remember I was looking up Joel Embiid's contract?
Yeah.
And it's I'm seeing it shows all the transactions that involve Joel Embiid on SpotTrack. On February 26, 2020, Joel Embiid was fined $25,000 for obscene gesture towards Kevin Huerter and using profane language in on-court interview during Atlanta-Philly game.
How does that have to do with the Wizards?
It doesn't. I'm done talking about the Wizards.
You switcherooed me there. Are they going to be the worst team in the league?
Really funny. Yeah.
But it would be them. San Antonio actually might be. I think Portland will be a little better.
San Antonio is going to be a good defense, so it's they're not going to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah, true. And even though I'm a little lower on rookie Wemby than others,
I'm pretty low on rookie Wemby. I still think he's going to be a generational player, but
Devin Vassell is kind of good. I'd probably take him over any Wizard.
Keldon Johnson?
Yeah, Keldon's fine. I'm lower on Keldon. I like Vassell. Would you take Vassell over?
Vassell's the better prospect.
Would you take Vassell over any Wizard pretty easily?
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to be their second best player.
And then Portland, I think, is probably going to be they're going to be bad too.
But assuming they trade Dame.
Yeah, I mean,
even if they don't trade Dame, they're still going to be bad.
Yeah, they have been for a while. But Simons and Sharp is a fun young, and of course Scoot. I think they're going to be fun bad. And they kept Jeremy Grant. Nurk is, yeah, for now. Pretty bad, but fun bad. I guess there's no like straight up depressing team. Except I guess the closest is like the Bulls, like just going nowhere. But like the bottom teams are all excited to be bottom teams.
Charlotte, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll see. We'll see with new ownership. They're going to be undergoing a lot of change this year. So
yeah,
like who's the Mitch Kupchak's probably out.
It's crazy that he's still working there. Crazy, dude.
I had to think. Wait, who's the GM of the Hornets?
Still
and I was
cooking.
like, oh, it's Mitch Kupchak.
Still can't believe he recovered from Mozgov Dang, but you know,
Day out, minute one, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they gave him a new job right away. Hey, we respect someone who goes and gets the bag.
Oh yeah.
And help us get the bag by subscribing to this episode, to this podcast. Wow, I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this episode, just this episode. Listen to this one on repeat for the rest of your life.
That does work for us, but I would recommend doing all of them once
for your own sanity.
Yeah,
so
but if you want to just,
us.
I mean, you know, a play is a
so
play
you don't have
for
to
us.
listen to Ty saying that I made the Rohan face like a million times.
That's true.
But yeah, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your podcast platform of choice, or on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you leave a like and engage in the comment section. Check out all of our pods at gspn.info, like Ty mentioned up top. All of the links are there for everything GSPN related, and all our podcasts, all our other stuff. It's all at gspn.info. Am I missing anything?
No.
Pod random, and we'll talk to you next time.